When stock markets crash, where can you put your money? Government bonds, gold, cash, defensive shares? You'll hear on YouTube that certain assets always rise when shares fall. That just isn't true from my experience. In 2008, government bonds offered protection. In 2022, shares and bonds fell together. So in this video, we'll compare 4 major market crashes and uncover which assets actually protected investors, and importantly, what UK investors should do before the next one. Why market crashes are not all the same. Before looking at the assets, we need to fully understand something really important. Every market crash has a different cause. The dot-com crash happened after technology valuations became disconnected from reality. The 2008 crash was caused by excessive debt and a crisis within the banking system. The COVID crash was caused by the global economy being deliberately shut down. And 2022 was largely an inflation and interest rate shock. Those are 4 completely different problems. Think of it like protecting your house. A fire extinguisher can protect you from a fire. Well, depending on the size of the fire. But the fire extinguisher has zero use during a flood. Investments work pretty much the same way. An asset that provides really good protection during a recession might perform badly when inflation and interest rates suddenly rise. That brings us to the first asset. Asset 1, government bonds. Government bonds have traditionally been one of the most common ways of reducing risk within an investment portfolio. When you buy a UK government bond, or gilt as they're known, you are effectively lending money to the British government. In return, you receive interest, and if the bond is held until maturity, the government should repay its face value. If you want to learn about potential 5.7% returns on UK government bonds, see below for a recent video. Anyway, during a typical recession, central banks will normally cut interest rates to support the economy. When interest rates fall, existing bonds paying higher rates become more attractive, and their prices can rise. That's why high-quality government bonds provided useful diversification during parts of the dot-com crash and the 2008 financial crisis. Shares were falling, economic growth was weakening, and interest rates were being cut. Bonds were doing the job many investors expected them to do. But 2022 completely changed the conversation. Inflation surged and the Bank of England rapidly increased interest rates. When market interest rates rise, existing bonds paying low rates become less attractive, so their prices fall. Long duration government bonds can be especially sensitive because investors are locked into those payments for longer. That meant many investors experienced something they thought wasn't supposed to happen. Their shares fell and their government bonds fell as well. This doesn't mean government bonds are useless. It means they don't protect you from every possible risk. Government bonds can provide protection during a deflationary recession, but longer dated bonds can struggle badly during an inflation and interest rate shock. There's also an important difference between buying an individual gilt and holding it until maturity, and owning a bond fund whose price constantly changes. That distinction is normally missed. Asset 2, gold. Gold has no profits, pays no dividends, and produces no cash flow. That makes it completely different from owning a business through the stock market, obviously. So why do people own it? Because gold has existed as a store of value for thousands of years. And investors often turn towards gold when confidence in governments, currencies, or the financial system in general begins to weaken. Gold performed strongly around several periods of severe financial stress, including the years surrounding the 2008 crisis. It also benefited during parts of the uncertainty caused by COVID. But gold doesn't rise during every stock market fall. It can be volatile, and there have been long periods when shares performed far better than gold. Its performance, the UK investor, can also be affected by sterling. Gold is normally priced internationally in US dollars. If the pound falls against the dollar, the sterling value of gold can rise, even if the dollar price of gold hasn't moved very much. That can make gold useful protection against both financial uncertainty and weakness in the pound. However, I wouldn't personally treat gold as a replacement for productive assets, such as global index funds. Just my opinion. A successful company can grow its earnings, reinvest its profits, and pay dividends. A bar of gold will still be the same bar of gold in 20 years. I see gold more like financial insurance. You don't necessarily want insurance to become your biggest asset. You want enough for it to make a meaningful difference when something goes tits up, badly wrong. Before I tell you about the third asset, this, as always, is not financial advice, but I do have 25 years of investing experience and I do actually care about you and your investment. Asset 3, cash and money market funds. The third asset is probably the least exciting, cash. Cash will not make you wealthy over the long term. Inflation gradually reduces what your money can buy, and for years, UK savings accounts paid almost nothing. I experienced this firsthand myself. Between 2012 and 2016, I held around £70,000 in premium bonds, me and my wife, because after previously losing money, I was frightened of taking investment risk. Huge mistake. The money felt safe, but it wasn't really growing. Looking back, the problem wasn't holding some cash. The problem for me was allowing fees to keep too much of my money out of productive assets for too long. But during a market crash, cash has one huge advantage. It doesn't fall by 30% just because everybody else is panicking. Cash gives you stability, pays your bills, and prevents you from being forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. It can also give you the ability to buy assets after their prices have fallen. That doesn't mean try to predict the bottom of the market, because no one has a clue, in my opinion. Nobody consistently knows where the bottom actually is. It means having enough financial resilience that a crash becomes an opportunity rather than a personal disaster. Money market funds can serve a similar purpose. They generally invest in short-term instruments such as government debt, bank deposits, and high-quality corporate debt. They might offer a competitive yield while keeping volatility relatively low, but they are investments, not guaranteed bank accounts, and they are not completely risk-free. For money held in a bank or building society, UK investors should also fully understand the current financial services compensation scheme, the limits, and to check whether different banking brands share the same banking license. Cash isn't designed to beat global shares over 20 or 30 years. Its job is to provide liquidity, stability, and optionality. And sometimes that's exactly what investors like me and you need. Asset 4, defensive shares and commodities. The fourth category needs to be treated carefully because it contains two different ideas: defensive companies and commodities. Defensive companies provide products and services people continue to need, even when the economy struggles. That might include supermarkets like Tesco, healthcare businesses, utilities, and companies selling everyday consumer essentials. If the economy enters a recession, people might postpone buying a new car, for example, or going on an expensive holiday, but they will still need food, medicine, electricity, and toothpaste. That can make the earnings of defensive businesses more resilient. However, defensive shares are still shares. During a serious market crash, they can fall as well. The protection is often that they fall less than the wider market, not that they automatically rise. Commodities can behave differently. Energy and other commodities performed strongly during part of the 2022 because the problem was partly inflation and supply shock. Oil and gas prices rose while many shares and bonds struggled. But during the 2008 financial crisis, collapsing economic demand caused oil prices to fall dramatically as well, after previously reaching record highs. Once again, the cause of the crisis matters. Commodities might help during an inflationary supply shock, but they can suffer badly during a recession that destroys demand. That's why just looking at the asset that performed best during the last crisis can be dangerous. The next crisis might be completely different. What happened in the 4 major recent crashes? Let's bring everything together. During the dot-com crash, expensive technology shares suffered badly. High-quality bonds and cash provided stability, while gold began entering a much stronger period. During the 2008 financial crisis, government bonds benefited from falling interest rates, and gold provided valuable protection over the wider crisis period. Defensive shares generally fell too, but some proved more resilient than highly cyclical businesses. During the initial COVID panic, shares collapsed really quickly. Government bonds initially acted as a safe haven, but the panic became so extreme that investors temporarily sold even safe assets to raise cash. Central bank intervention then helped stabilize markets. In 2022, inflation surged and interest rates rose. Shares struggled, long duration government bonds suffered, and cash initially lost purchasing power to inflation. Energy and some commodities were among the stronger performers. So what went up during every one of those crashes? Literally nothing consistently. That's the honest answer. The real purpose of diversification. Diversification is important and isn't just about owning 4 assets and expecting all 4 to rise simultaneously. It's about accepting that we cannot know what the next crisis will look like. If you knew with certainty that the next crash would be caused by deflation and falling interest rates, you might want to own more government bonds. Now, if you knew it would be caused by inflation and an energy shortage, commodities might provide better protection. If you knew confidence in currencies would collapse, you might want more gold exposure. The problem is that nobody sends us a little email 6 months before the crash explaining exactly what is about to happen. That's why a diversified portfolio might contain assets that occasionally disappoint you and your portfolio. Something should almost always feel like it isn't doing enough. If every part of your portfolio is rising for exactly the same reason or reasons, there's a good chance every part could also fall for the same reason. What should a UK investor actually do? For most long-term UK investors, I believe the foundation can remain really simple. First, hold an emergency fund that prevents a broken boiler, job loss, or unexpected bill from forcing you to sell investments during a crash. Second, build your long-term portfolio around diversified, productive assets. For me, that means low-cost global index funds, rather than trying to predict which individual company is going to win, which individual country or sector will win. Third, decide whether bonds, gold, or other defensive assets are appropriate for your personal situation. Someone aged 25 investing for another 30 or 40 years might be able to tolerate far more volatility. Someone approaching retirement who plan to start withdrawing money from their portfolio soon might need more stability. The right portfolio isn't simply the one with the highest theoretical return. It's the one you can actually stick with long term, even when the headlines are frightening and your investments have fallen thousands of pounds. And finally, don't build your entire strategy around predicting the next crash. I've invested through euphoric markets, frightening corrections, and periods when I've personally made huge, painful mistakes. The lesson I've learned over the years is that constantly jumping between assets can be more damaging than the crash you were trying to avoid. Conclusion. So, what actually goes up when stock markets crash? Sometimes government bonds, sometimes gold, sometimes commodities, and sometimes the most valuable asset is just cash that doesn't fall. But nothing works during every crisis. The goal isn't to find an investment that can never decline. The goal is to build a portfolio and a financial life that doesn't depend on you correctly predicting what happens next. No chance. Because crashes will happen, recessions will happen, inflation will return at some point, and markets will frighten us to death again. But if you have an emergency fund, a diversified portfolio, and a long-term plan, you don't need to know exactly when the next crash is coming. You just need to be prepared to stay invested when it arrives. Now, if you want help making investing much simpler, I've created a complete investing community on School for ordinary people like you who want to become more confident with investing and to make work more optional earlier, to retire early, potentially. The link is in the description, or you can type School in the comments and I'll send you the link for my free community.